At 9:15 a.m. on the morning of 21 October 1966, time stopped in a small Welsh village. Clocks later recovered from a buried school were found frozen at that exact minute. By the end of that day, 116 children were dead. There had been no explosion, no warning siren, no dramatic signal of danger, only a mountainside collapsing onto a primary school. This is the story of Aberfan. Aberfan was a close-knit mining village in South Wales. Rows of gray terraced houses lined narrow streets. Families had lived there for generations. Neighbors knew each other by name. Life moved to the rhythm of the colliery. In the 1960s, coal still powered Britain. It heated homes, it fueled factories, it symbolized industrial strength. In villages like Aberfan, coal was more than work. It was identity. It was survival. But coal mining leaves waste behind. After the valuable coal is removed, rock and debris remain. That waste was piled high above the village. 7 spoil tips stood on the hillside, dark, looming, permanent. One of them, tip number 7, rose directly above Pantglas Junior School. It had been placed on ground known to contain natural underground springs. At the time, few outside the village questioned it, but some inside did. Concerns had been raised long before 1966. After heavy rain, dark water sometimes flowed down the slope. Residents noticed small slips in the earth. Parents worried about the safety of the tips above the school. Letters were written, complaints were made, but the National Coal Board insisted the tips were stable. In post-war Britain, nationalized industries were widely trusted. The Coal Board was seen as authority. The community carried on. Each morning, children walked beneath tip number 7 on their way to school. In the weeks leading up to 21 October, heavy rain fell across South Wales. The hills became saturated. Water seeped deep into the spoil tip. Beneath the surface, the compacted waste absorbed moisture from rainfall in underground springs. What had once appeared solid slowly became unstable. There were no modern monitoring systems, no evacuation plans, no emergency warnings, only a quiet village below. At 9:15 a.m., lessons had just begun at Pantglas Junior School. Children were settling into their classrooms. Teachers were writing on blackboards. Some pupils were preparing for the half-term break. Then came a sound, a low, deep rumble, like distant thunder beneath the earth. Tip number 7 collapsed. More than 150,000 cubic meters of liquefied coal waste broke free. The mass surged downhill, gathering speed. A black wave up to 30 feet high swept toward the village. It moved faster than anyone could run. Within seconds, it struck the school. Classrooms filled instantly with thick debris. Windows shattered. Walls gave way. Desks were crushed. Teachers tried to shield their pupils. Some children never had time to move. In less than a minute, the school disappeared. Homes nearby were swallowed as well. And then, silence. Parents heard the roar from their kitchens. Miners felt the tremor underground and rushed to the surface. When they reached the village, they saw devastation. Pantglas Junior School was gone. In its place lay a vast expanse of black sludge. Rescue efforts began immediately. Fathers climbed onto the debris with shovels. Neighbors dug with bare hands. Police, firefighters, and volunteers arrived from across South Wales. Floodlights illuminated the hillside as darkness fell. Occasionally, a child was pulled from the wreckage alive. Each rescue sparked hope, but as the hours passed, those moments became fewer. Clocks recovered from the school had stopped at 9:15. By the end of the rescue operation, 144 people had died. 116 of them were children. In a village of fewer than 5,000 people, the loss was almost beyond comprehension. Nearly every family in Aberfan was affected. Funerals followed in the days ahead. Small white coffins were carried through silent streets. The grief was shared, collective, enduring. Aberfan had lost a generation. An official inquiry was launched swiftly. Its findings were clear. The Aberfan disaster had been entirely preventable. The National Coal Board had known about underground springs beneath tip number 7. Concerns about drainage had been raised before the disaster, yet no decisive action had been taken. The inquiry described the tragedy as a result of negligence and a failure of responsibility. No senior officials were imprisoned. No criminal prosecutions followed. For many in Aberfan, justice felt incomplete. Public donations poured in from across Britain and around the world. A disaster fund was created to support grieving families, but part of that fund was later used to remove the remaining spoil tips. For some residents, this felt like another wound. The community that had lost its children was contributing to correcting a failure it had warned about for years. The physical damage was visible, but the psychological impact lasted decades. Surviving children experienced trauma and anxiety. Parents described homes that felt permanently altered by absence. In small villages, memory is never distant. Every street carries reminders. Every anniversary returns quietly. Aberfan became a turning point in modern British history. It forced serious questions about industrial oversight, about safety regulation, about accountability. Reforms followed, but reform came too late for 116 children. Today, the hillside above Aberfan is green. The spoil tips are gone. From a distance, it looks peaceful. But in Aberfan Cemetery, rows of white memorial arches mark the graves of the children who never returned home that morning. Friends buried beside friends, brothers beside sisters. The disaster was not an unavoidable act of nature. It was human failure. And for the people of Aberfan, it is not simply history. It is lived memory. Some tragedies fade with time. Aberfan does not, because it reminds us that warnings matter, that responsibility matters, and that trust carries weight.